afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar for the day, which is called Generate More Leads and Drive More Sales with a Strong Online Presence. Today's featured speakers are Phil St. Jacques. He's from WorkWave Agency. He's the principal there. And Heath Bertini, who is our product manager for the WorkWave marketing products. Unfortunately, we will not have time during this webinar today to take any questions. But if you have any, please feel free to email us at the end of the webinar and someone will get back to us, get back to you rather. Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Phil.
Super, thank you, Paula. Really appreciate it. And this is a, I'm just going to kind of click over to the agenda page. As Paula said, I'm the agency principal here at WorkWave, and we just develop a lot of online strategies for our clients, you know, large clients, small clients, but they all tend to kind of fall into the same type of structure. So we're going to kind of go through like how that actually looks. How do we set up those seasonal strategic marketing plans? And especially coming out of this downturn in business, we want to call it, around COVID-19. A lot of clients have come back in June to really want to play catch up, kind of get back to where they were, predicting to be, and kind of and then kind of start to make some real headway into the rest of the seasons. So we're going to cover off on these main points here. How do we develop that seasonal strategic marketing plan with that view to using June as a catch-up phase? Steps to building that powerful online presence, and we're going to kind of hear from Heath about the online reviews and some of the marketing automation applications that he builds, and how do we kind of blend them into our strategic marketing plans. We're going to look at some pitfalls to avoid, and I've kind of talked to a lot of these ad nauseum in terms of mistakes that we see over and over again. So we're going to kind of help you avoid those. And then advantages of partnering. Like, when should you bring on professional services to actually help you? And when does it make more sense to bring on professional services? And I always liken this to get my car fixed, right? I want to know what they're doing. I don't need to know how to do it. And then all of those WorkWave solutions, like what can we bring to the table to kind of help you, again, catch up and start to get ahead of the on the seasons. And then any final thoughts, and then we'll kind of go through a Q&A period. All right, so we're just going to jump right in here. Most people, when they think about developing, they don't really think about developing marketing plans. They think about advertising, like when should I be promoting my next thing. But typically, for a lot, especially for a lot of field service and pest control businesses, we want to start with some type of a structure. Like, we know that pest control especially is very seasonal. Pests have seasons, and your services have seasons. So we want to make sure we're kind of mapping all of this out into some type of a process that we can follow. So we usually use these 5-step guides to success, and it doesn't have to be like these exhaustive, days-long planning sessions. It just really needs to, kind of map things out on a calendar so we can kind of get ahead of things. Understanding that marketing is one component of the things that you have to do on a daily basis. So when we're planning that seasonal strategic marketing strategy, the planning session is really tied to what are the events coming up? What are the holidays, the seasons, themes that resonate? We want to think about the pests that are coming up, any promotions. And then we also want to think about those channels. I'm also going to add into the planning, what do you want the goals of those promotions to be? Everybody wants to kind of make a sale, but a lot of our clients tend to want to focus on home protection programs, like the recurring revenue stuff that tends to be more valuable. A lot of our clients, we help them pivot to disinfecting. So in this COVID-19 phase, a lot of pest control companies are getting their disinfecting licenses. So a lot of the communications are, okay, stop with our stinging insects campaign and start with our disinfecting campaign, and we're going to kind of run that for the next 3-4 weeks. And then the channels we're going to use, right? So we kind of know what are the promotions, and we know what those seasonal events are in our calendar. Then we're going to look at those that are available to us. Email, obviously, if you're a pest pack customer, you've got a database and you have emails, and the marketing automation tool that that Heath and his team have built and managed is a great way to get the quick messages, really affordable, out the door. You tie it into these promotional periods when it's with these relevant messages, and you got a really efficient way to get a quick promotional message out into the marketplace. Obviously, your website needs to be, you know, we put a lot of focus on websites being those lead conversion mechanisms. Like, so whether it's a form fill or a phone call, like we want that web visitor to convert into some type of a lead. A lot of social media channels, with most people being home across the country, social media has really kind of ramped up in terms of its importance in a communication mechanism, especially around Facebook. And then things like door hangers and postcards, flyers, coupons, and then digital advertising. You know, I think a lot of our clients now are kind of putting aside some of the print materials for the digital materials, because we can get messages into the market a lot faster. We can start them, we can stop them, we can pivot quickly. The content, you know, kind of ties into the plan. What are the holidays, the seasons, the themes that we put into the plan? What are those promotional periods? So we want to make sure that our content kind of lines up with that. We don't want to be advertising for termites in September when it's no longer termite season. We want to make sure that all the communications are relevant. And then execute. You know, how do we get this message out? What are those not only those channels that we have, but how do we put this all together and kind of execute consistently against this plan, and then change and then measuring to make sure that we're really effective. Okay. So when you're kind of putting together that seasonal structure, you're going to want to kind of use a template like this, and this is kind of how we do it here. There's the annual promotional type stuff, and typically, you know, in a non-COVID-19 year, it would fall into like roughly four areas of focus. You know, figuring on a spring service launch with a goal of monthly recurring revenue. Termites make an appearance at some point throughout the season, and again, we want some type of monthly recurring revenue. In mosquitoes and ticks, a lot of our clients offer that as a summer yard protection program, so that we always know that that's going to be a component of the program. And then a lot of our pest control clients also do some type of lawn care, right? So that we kind of blend them. Use this as a starting point. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. What we would do is we'd encourage you to put dates to this as well. When does that promotional period start and stop, so we know when to start preparing for that next communication mechanism. The ongoing support are the things that that kind of lay in the background to help drive business, especially to not only to a phone call, but also to a website. But the things that are kind of always going on in the background, like organic SEO, like relevant content, relevant services in those service areas. Your Google My Business page management, right? Continually updating that. That's where, you know, a really easy, efficient, free way to get onto a first page Google search result in a lot of cases. Online reviews, you know, which is really important. That also feeds into your organic search. And Heath's going to talk about online reviews as a really good tool to use to actually help generate those authentic, organic online reviews that can go onto your Facebook page, your website, onto your Google My Business page. Emails as well, you know, for all types of communications, not just promotional. They could be, you know, they could be a lot of other types of communications. And then a lot of times our clients like to always have some type of a digital media component running in the background, like an AdWords program or some other type of media component. So when you're kind of putting together your seasonal calendar, this is a really good kind of framework, we're going to call it, to how you kind of start to plan out your day. So we usually kind of start with, like, there's 4 big buckets, and then there's 5 key tactics, right? So there's 4 things that all kind of need to come together. You know, the websites, which we call your business enablement hub, right? That should be a real workhorse for you, driving a lot of traffic, even from your social campaigns, driving a lot of traffic to your website, where people can do a lot of things. They can, you know, not only learn about your business and then kind of reach out and schedule service, but a lot of our clients are using the bill pay with My Customer Connect, and they're allowing people to pay their bills online, scheduling service online with Sales Assistant, and so there's a lot of things that the websites are so they're not just promotional, they're really more like business enablement hubs. And then the campaigns that we talked about, which season, pest, service, that's kind of tied to those campaign elements. And then integration with the full suite of Google products, and they're all free and they're all available and they're all important. A lot of them, and we'll kind of go through what some of those things are. And then the integration with WorkWave's industry-leading marketing applications, which is the marketing automation for emails, it's the online reviews for generating those organic online reviews, it's lead management, which is a sales CRM type tool. So I definitely encourage you to kind of check these out, and we'll kind of hear about those in a little bit. So the tactics, right? So once we kind of have all these four elements together, it's really those 5 key tactics that we want to focus on. Choose that platform you want to focus on, right? And a lot of our clients have to really turn to their social media as a way to disseminate information quickly and efficiently. And if you wanted to buy some media, it's really affordable to kind of get a message out into a regional area. We've just built an instant website builder. So if you don't have a website, WorkWave has built an application where you can go build a industry-specific pest, lawn, delivery, cleaning specific website in minutes. No coding, no hosting, you don't have to even buy a domain name. So it's a really fantastic application that you should check out. And then your Google My Business page, which is free, and you just go to business.google.com, and you can, if you don't have a Google My Business page, you can actually sign up and get yours set up right there. And then posting on neighborhood Facebook groups. A lot of Facebook has really shifted over the past couple of years to focusing on groups, kind of getting groups together, and everybody has seen those commercials. But it makes it real easy to kind of start your own group, start your own neighborhood Facebook group, and that's a really good way to kind of keep your communications like tone relevant, connected to the community, and also kind of give others a forum to kind of start a dialogue with similar interests. So kind of look into either connecting on an existing Facebook group or starting your own. And then the social media calendar. A lot of people have questions around social media and how do we use that as a lead generation or driver for business. And I think the challenging thing with social media is it tends to be, the posts don't have a long shelf life. Like they're not, they don't stick around for weeks and weeks. They really have a shelf life of a day or two. And then you've got to add some other type of relevant content. But just so creating that social media calendar in line with the campaigns that we're working on, but also adding in some other communications that tend to not be promotional in nature would be a really smart strategy. Generating that steady flow of actionable customer feedback and reviews. Again, that's that online reviews tools. I keep promising you're going to hear about it, and I'll let Heath get a word in here at some point. And then at some point, people like to hire professionals, bring on those professional services. And so at what point, and what's the scope of what it is that they bring on? Again, I liken this to getting my car fixed. I want to know what they're doing. I don't ever need to know how to actually fix my car. And let me just kind of run. Okay, so I'm going to just pause here for a second and just kind of let you think about that for a little bit. Lots of times, there's some pitfalls that we've seen people get into over and over again. A lot of times, small businesses, if we can help you kind of avoid this, it'll save a lot of headaches down the road. I would say the biggest one that we see, and this is true for mostly all companies that we work with, is that at some point you're not in control of your digital assets, or you don't know you're not in control of your digital assets, right? So somebody else has set up your website and they bought the domain name, right? You got a web guy and he, set up the hosting account. So, you don't have access to it, but there's a hosting account somewhere. Even your social properties, I've worked with clients where they did not own their social properties, even the Google My Business page. A lot of people don't know they can set up a Google My Business page for free. A lot of times they have somebody else do it for them as a service. And again, they don't own the assets. And Google Analytics is probably the most popular one. Again, the guy who built your website also set up your Google Analytics, but he set it up under his account and he owns the analytics account. So these are probably the 5 most important things about 5 most important digital assets that you don't know, that you may not know, that you don't actually own. So if you wanted to have somebody work on your website and you don't own the hosting, right? You have to ask somebody else for permission. And then not only the digital assets you had built, and again, website is most common, and then content and creative development is most common. Most of the times when you hire an agency, it's known as work for hire, which means when the bill is paid, you own those assets. A lot of companies tend to forget that, but you own a lot of the content and creative. And again, even in this day, we still have clients that said, hey, I built a website, I thought I owned it, I don't actually own anything, that type of thing. And then unrealistic expectations. Cheap and easy to get leads, and leads are like magic, even when you bring on a professional service firm. We're in very competitive industries. And now that COVID-19 has really put some downward pressure on a lot of small businesses, everybody's like coming out strong and doubling up and trying to catch up. So it's gotten even more and more competitive. So even when you're working with a professional firm to help you, it's not instantaneous and it's not cheap. There is no kind of cheap and easy source of leads. So if we think about the advantages to partnering, right? So a lot of times we get questions about when do I bring you guys on? When do I bring on an agency, and what is the scope of the agency? I'm working with this group over here, and this is what they're doing, and what can you guys do? That type of thing. This is what you have to kind of ask yourself. And here's like four key questions. And at the end of the day, there's 3 things that we're really selling, and I'll kind of get to that. Your understanding is your advantage, right? So what are things that you can do for yourself? You can, the marketing things that you can do for yourself. You've kind of built the seasonal campaign, you've put it into this framework, you've got access to your social accounts where you can start putting some posts and buying some media. Like, what are those things that you can actually do for yourself, or you have somebody on your staff that can help you do it? What can others help me do? Just help you figure things out. And a lot of times we'll just do some consultation and we'll kind of walk them through, just an audit. Like, here's where your domain lives. Here's where your website is. Here's who owns your Google My Business page. And a lot of times when we're onboarding clients, most of that is around kind of getting control over their digital assets. And then is the partner really vested in my success, right? And that's probably the biggest one. Are they kind of like standing shoulder to shoulder to me, or are they just waiting around to take orders for you? We have a client that kind of said to our team a couple of weeks back, he said, what I really like about you guys is you tell me what we should be doing, and you've got a strategic process to get there. Most other companies I've worked with, we're always sit around waiting for me to tell them what to do, and if I knew what to tell them to do, I wouldn't need them. Right, and so that's kind of where we're acting as a partner, and we're kind of vested in their success. Okay. All right. So Paula, I don't know if we have a poll question here. If we want to take a poll question here, or we're going to kind of just kind of run through this.
Yeah, we're just going to continue on. So you can just skip it. We're not. Unfortunately, we're just not able to do that today with the platform.
Okay, awesome. That's great. So, and then one other question is what's just a time check. How much more time do we have?
You have about 20 more minutes.
Okay, all right. I want to get Heath in here, so I'm getting to. I want to get to that slide quickly. So let's skip over this. So Heath, I don't know if you want to start to. I guess we're going to start talking about the applications. Did you want to take this part?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the website builder that Phil was mentioning is essentially a tool that we've produced on the marketing product side that allows folks to quickly spin up a website very efficiently. That's really specific for the field service space. And what that means is that there's a lot of other tools out there that'll allow you to create a website fast and free. Some of the other folks like Wix or Weebly, or some of you more savvy users might be accustomed to like solutions like WordPress, where you can quickly create a website. But some of the challenges that we've seen folks face with those solutions is they get in a little bit over their head with platforms like WordPress, where you have to choose a theme and then you have to start personalizing all the content to that theme. And now you've already spent hours just trying to pick the right theme and figure out how it's going to work. And then now you've got some added challenges of how am I going to capture leads from this web page, and how am I going to make sure that I link all to all the appropriate places, like if I'm using PestPack's online sales module, or I'd like to capture some email addresses for an email marketing campaign. Those are all challenges that people face, with a lot of these other solutions out there. So one of the things that we've done is we've basically done a lot of that that upfront work for you, and created a product that will allow you to come in and basically create a pop-up website very quickly. You can customize the content on there. You can, choose from a number of different service-specific icons to really personalize the website. And within, a matter of minutes, really, not hours, you can have a pretty good website up there that you can use to capture customers, capture leads, capture email addresses, and even direct folks to your payments portal, where they, the customer portal, where they can manage and view their bills and pay. And then also, you can have prospective customers land on that page and fill out a form if they're interested in getting a free quote, for example. So, in the time that it would take you to do all that stuff with some of these other solutions, you can do that very quickly with us. There are some limitations to our platform. Again, we're not trying to design it to be a multi-page, full SEO-driven website. This is really, for some of you folks who've been saying to yourself in the back of your mind, and now with the recent chain of events, web presence is more important than ever. You might be saying to yourself, man, I really got to get, online, and believe it or not, for some of you that have had websites for years that might be listening to this webinar, to think, how are there people out there that don't have websites yet? For folks like Phil and I who've been in the space for a while, there are a lot of people that have been getting along pretty well without a website. And one of the reasons how that is due to word of mouth, right? So in terms of, how are people finding these companies that don't have websites? Well, in this day and age, you really have a couple of different ways that you can get business without a website. But adding a website to that list of tools really helps make the picture more complete, and it also just gives you an extra bite at the apple in terms of getting leads.
That's awesome.
Yep. So yep, perfect. Thank you. So to segue into that, some folks out there, they might not have a website, right? They might just go on Facebook or Google. Like a lot of companies I've seen, not just outside of the service space, that are very popular. And the reason they're popular is because they have a lot of reviews, and people like the work that they do, and they go online and they share their experiences. And because that happens consistently and frequently, their businesses show up when you do a Google search for something that you have a problem with, or something you'd like to purchase. And that is really how the whole flow of online reviews works, right? So the idea is that this is a really a two-way tool. I kind of like to refer to it as almost like a 360 win, right? Because everybody that, you know, engages with online reviews, if the company is doing them properly, everybody ends up winning at the end, right? So online reviews is great because it allows you know, customers to go on and share their feedback, and that in a sense has a lot of value to it for other customers that are kind of shopping around for a solution or a product that they'd like to buy. And at the same time, the company gets to, you know, get all of that feedback and insight, and they can use that as a feedback loop that they can essentially use to improve their service over time and better serve their customers. And all of this is happening in real transparency, right? So online today, everything is public and it's out there, and everything's up front. And you know, some businesses kind of shy away from that because they're afraid that, you know, I'm going to get a lot of bad reviews and then no one's going to like my company. But it's actually the opposite. You know, one of the things that I tell a lot of folks that express that concern is that, you know, bad reviews are actually a good thing, because some people that are maybe on the fence of seeing, you know, whether they're going to purchase from you or a competitor, some of them really like and do appreciate to see how the company addressed unhappy customers, because it shows how dedicated the company is to really making it right. And the other big positive I like to point out about negative reviews is that they essentially are there to help kind of give the business some legitimacy, right? So I think that maybe not much myself, but other folks on the webinar as well have come across a business online that has, you know, 1,000 5-star reviews. And you think to yourself, how could that be? There's got to be at least one or two people that didn't have a bad experience. And that's when you start to think to yourself, are these real reviews? Are they not real? So having negative reviews peppered in with positive reviews is absolutely fine. It doesn't hurt your Google score or your Facebook presence or anything like that. And it's really all just done in the name of transparency. And that way everybody gets what they're looking for out of the transaction. So in WorkWave, we have an online reviews tool that we've built. And that tool basically does a few different things. Primarily, it helps you get more online reviews. And one of the ways that that's possible is because we've taken that, you know, that step that you would take normally. Maybe the person's on a job site, you know, or at a job, and they ask the customer, hey, would you like to leave a review online on Google or Facebook, for example? The customer says, sure. Well, that's a one-to-one conversation that happened. And, you know, for you as a business owner, you're probably thinking like, well, okay, I definitely want to train all my people to ask, you know, the customer for a Google review or a Facebook review. But you know in the back of your head that not everyone's going to ask, especially if the you know, maybe somebody wasn't home, right? And they didn't really get a chance to talk to somebody. So our tool essentially has an automation aspect to it, so that if your people forget to ask for an online review, we've built a service that essentially automates that. Or if, for example, you don't train your people to ask for online reviews, you can let the automation take care of that. So we have a trigger inside of PestPack, and when the order is complete, the customer will get a text message or an email, and it'll, you know, trigger a message to the customer to leave a review on one of the platforms that you really like to value your reviews, you know, most. So typically that's Facebook or Google. We do have some folks that do collect reviews on, like, you know, Better Business Bureau or Yellow Pages, right? Depending on where they do business. And the idea is that, you know, you'll have this steady flow of reviews coming in, and you know, the customers will win because they're, you know, you're aggregating more reviews, and your potential customers are seeing that, and they're finding that as very valuable, and they're picking your business. So now you're getting new business out of the deal, and you're also using the reviews to improve your business and how you guys operate. So the tool is great. It lives directly inside of PestPack and our other product, WorkWave Service. That way you don't have to keep going to your Facebook page, going to your Google page, and checking the reviews and responding online there. We pulled everything into a single dashboard for you. We give you all the major, you know, key performance indicators of how you're doing. And we really designed it to be fast and simple, so you can basically manage your online reviews, get more customers, and really get on with your day, right?
Awesome. That's great.
So,
yeah, really, it's a great tool. Yep.
Yep, go ahead, Phil. I thought you were going to say something.
Oh, no, I was going to say it's a great tool, and it really helps our organic search results. So clients are, you know, when we talk about organic search or SEO, reviews always plays into, and the Google My Business page always plays into the organic search conversation. So this is great.
Yeah. this slide I generally like to show because it really just shows the power of online reviews. So if you think about, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, word of mouth and personal recommendations was really how folks got business. There was, some people, like some real early adopters, that were getting business through the web, back in the 90s and, early 90s and stuff like that. But, ever, recently, as I'm sure everybody's aware, the web has really taken over as a major source of leads, because we've got the, 18 to 34 range out there right now that is basically, it's second nature for them to look for whatever they're looking for, whatever their needs are. They want to search them out online when it's most convenient for them to do so. So Google calls that the I want moments, right? And one of the things that has been captured in that whole ecosystem is the idea that these folks trust online reviews basically as much as a personal recommendation. So on the right over there, 91% of folks in that age bracket, which by the way happens to be the average age of a homeowner, right? A new homeowner. These guys are literally looking at your Google reviews and your Facebook reviews, and they're trusting them as much as a friend that would actually recommend the business to them. So that's a pretty powerful piece of information to have. So the idea here is that if you do a really good job of managing your online reviews, you'll get new customers, and you'll be able to basically improve your business as you do. And some folks usually ask me at that point, like, well, how do I manage my online reviews very well? And it's actually very, very simple. There's really not a whole lot you need to do, because when an online review happens, it's really someone says something about your business and you have a chance to address it. And the idea is, you let them say whatever they need to say. If they want to give you a great review, that's fantastic. You always want to reply and thank them. If they give you a bad review, you want to reply and apologize, and then you want to take the conversation offline. So it's just a two-way exchange. Someone will leave a review for you on Facebook or Google, and then you respond to it. And you basically just want to make sure that you know that you're responding in a public forum, so you want to keep it professional and brief. And the tool that we built actually helps some of your employees that might be managing this workflow consistently respond to online reviews, figure out which reviews haven't been responded to yet. It gives you some transparency into which of your employees are responding online. And then we've also created some follow-up action workflow items, like sending them an email directly from the review in our system. So, we want to coach folks that, you really don't want to write a really, really long response to a customer online. You might not say the right things. You might not have the right information in front of you. So it's best to just follow up with the customer offline. So, to accomplish that, we've adjusted our tool inside of PestPack, inside of WorkWave Service, to allow people to do those quick follow-up items without having to click into a bunch of places. So we really made a nice streamlined approach to, the online reviews workflow, if you want to call it that. And it really all just, again, marches towards the idea of managing your online reviews and showing, your customers that you care, while at the same time you're winning new customers because you're showing them that you care. So it's really a great symbiotic relationship. And as Phil mentioned, it's one of the stepping stones to really driving people to your website. So I just mentioned that website builder tool. So you're kind of starting to see now how the products that I build along with Phil kind of start to intermingle and intertwine with each other in the themes, and how they fill into each other, and how they really help just kind of power your overall marketing ecosystem and make it more successful in the long run.
That's cool. Yeah, I love this tool. It's a great tool. Awesome. Awesome. So we're just going to jump into final thoughts here. I think we're just kind of coming up to the end of our time here. But we're going to, I think this is being recorded, and we're going to share this out to you. So we're going to focus on these 5 things. So think strategically about where you want to go and how you get there. And we've kind of given you a framework for how do you set up your campaigns and your content for the season. Execute in steps. You don't have to do this all at once. You don't have to do it all in a day. You don't have to do it all in a week. You can start to plan out month to month. We have some clients that just plan out week to week. This week we want to focus on this, especially around COVID-19. There's a lot of messaging that is changing, weekly for us. And then the website is your storefront. So, get and the face of your company. And a lot of people know this, and a lot of people don't. But you should really take a look at it and think about it from a consumer's point of view or a customer's point of view. Like, would you be happy landing on that? Finding your website as the destination for a service provider, And if the answer is maybe or no, maybe you should think about kind of sweeping the porch, so to speak. And then, as Keith just talked about, the online reviews is a super powerful tool that helps spread the word about your business. And it works right inside of PestPack, and it's really just beautiful in terms of how it asks for reviews and gets you those genuine organic reviews. And then at some point, if it gets too much for you, you can partner with a company that understands your business and already has the framework really built out for you and can really be a partner to you. And so that's how we put it all together. It's really just some good strategic thinking with some smart planning and some awesome tools to help us automate some of these processes, and that's how we win the day. So Heath, thanks very much. I really appreciate the team up here. I think it worked out really
no
well.
problem, fellas. Good time. Excellent.
All right, thanks everybody. Have a great rest of your day. I think we're going to be sharing this out. Take care.